get a little snippet of this. All right, just try to play around with a little music before we get started with everything. Just give y'all a little bit of Alcorn music right there. Trying to get into the spirit of football. This might be something that I can do a little bit better from time to time, but I just want to play around with it. So we back with another edition of SWAC Smoke. I'm your boy CWells.
I'm DJ.
So man, what's going on? How you doing today?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
Oh man, I'm lounging, man. Just getting ready for football. That MEAC SWAC challenges on the 28th. So I'm ready. I'm ready for that. The season as a whole gets started on the 4th, and that big between Jackson State and Florida is on the 5th, and Tennessee State and Grambling play on the 5th. That's a game nobody really talking about. Eddie George is really flying under the radar. Grambling, coming off of the season they had. So, that's a game that probably should have a little bit more hype on it, but it don't right now. So I'm just ready for football.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm ready. Even tonight, Hall of Fame game. I'm gonna check some of that out. Even though it's NFL, I'm just ready for any kind of football right now.
Yeah, I'm a Cowboy fan, and it's been bleak. It's been bleak. I got family living in Dallas, and they hate the Cowboys, so it's been rough. I've been quiet. Although most people say Dallas fans always claim a Super Bowl for the season, I didn't give up on that. I'm just hoping for a good showing this year. So I'm gonna try to check out a little bit of that game as well. Like you say, it's football, so it's gonna be it's better than nothing right now.
Right.
So I had said before we went off the air the last time that I wanted to kind of talk about some SWAC environments and atmospheres for games. I wanted to kind of talk about your favorite, your least favorite. If you've been how many schools you've been to for games so far.
So yeah, I was really looking forward to the education from you. I've only been to home games. I've been to Jackson State several times to see them play Southern. I've been to Alabama State several times. Of course, UAPB. Those are the only home stadiums I've been to. The rest of them have been neutral sites. Bayou Classic.
All right.
Classic in Shreveport at the Independence Stadium. Games in Little Rock War Memorial, UAPB and Grambling, Delta Literacy Classic. So most of my games have been either in Pine Bluff or neutral sites. So I'm looking forward to hearing what your thoughts are. I actually want to go on the SWAC tour this season if the pandemic will allow us to have it.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Just to start off, I've been to every school in the SWAC except for Bethune and Pine Bluff. The only Pine Bluff game I went to away from Southern was like in 1998 in Little Rock. Never made it up to the actual school itself, and I'd never been to Daytona at all. I've been to Orlando, but never been to Daytona. So Bethune-Cookman is on my list. Pine Bluff is obviously on my list to check out just to get up there for a game. I've been to Alabama State, but I haven't been to their new stadium. I went when they were still playing at the Crampton Bowl. I didn't like that stadium at all. We used to play Alabama State a lot in Mobile in the Gulf Coast Classic. So we didn't really get to Montgomery so much. They would come to Baton Rouge. We would go to Mobile. So, and I've been to Alabama A&M like 2 or 3 times. So those are the ones that's kind of like the outliers for me. I went to Prairie View for the first time for a game in 2018. I really like the campus, and I love the football stadium. It's like it's pretty. It's almost similar to Alcorn Stadium. Maybe the visitor side is a double decker instead of single. Like Alcorn is kind of dug in the ground. But I like the setup of the stadium. I didn't really get to experience enough of the atmosphere because we kind of got up there like a few minutes before game time because we basically drove from Baton Rouge into Houston and then straight to Prairie View. But I did like the crowd. You know, they did have a good student section, and obviously the band was really ready. It was a good environment. The game didn't turn out the way they wanted it to, but it was still a fun environment. I love going to Jackson. Jackson is like when Southern and Jackson hook up, big crowd, tailgating, the atmosphere, everybody talking back and forth. You got Southern people sitting on Jackson side. You got Jackson people sitting on Southern side. Man. And, it's just, it's just heated,
It's
I love
crazy.
it. I love it.
I've been the last 2 years straight. And, man, Jackson fans mixing with Southern fans, it's a sight to see. I mean, Jackson State fans talk trash from beginning to the end, and they lose, and they still talking. They talking about the stadium. We're like, this ain't even y'all stadium. We hold more than Southern. They just – it was fun, though, man. It's very fun. If you ain't been to a Southern Jackson game, you missing out. And also, I've been to Alcorn, too. I was a little bit younger, but I forget I've been to Alcorn, too, for a game. It's in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, most definitely, man. You don't get no cell service. And for us, not only do you not have cell service, you lose when you're there. And taking that ride back in there with an L is the worst feeling. But I like Alcorn because, everybody comes out, is tailgating. The schools are not far apart, Southern and Alcorn. I had that went to Alcorn, my uncles. I got a few cousins went. My family is from Woodville, which is like an hour and a half or so away from Lorman. I'm probably off on the times. I don't live in Mississippi, y'all forgive me, but it's not that far away. So it's a lot of people from that area up there. And it's just, it's just fun. You smell the grills while you're in the stadium. And the crowd is always there. They always engaged, and they talk too. Alcorn people talk too. They definitely like to like they say, they like to bring the smoke to everybody. So that's another place I really enjoy. FAMU. Oh man, they don't like Southern, and we don't like them. And we've had bad times at their stadium. But I only been there like once for a game. The next year we went down, they beat 65-18 in 99. And then in 2001, we beat them the last time in that series before we restarted later. And the crowd rushed the field. That was the first time I've ever seen a visiting team rush the field after a game. So it was just a crazy atmosphere. Texas Southern, they play in that soccer stadium, and they don't really draw a lot of people. But I like going to Houston, so that's kind of like a good thing for me to do that. So there's a lot of good environments, and I know people probably can chime in, in the comments that what they school do best. But I just like really outside of Southern, I like Alcorn and Jackson because it's intense. It's just fun.
Yeah, I want to get down to Southern. I've been to Valley also, 2007. We played Valley at Valley, so I've been there too. But all this stuff coming back now that you start talking. But from a player standpoint, I was talking to my best friend. He played at Pine Bluff, and he did mention Southern as one of the most Southern and Jackson, two of the most hostile environments he's played in the SWAC.
Oh yeah. Those are probably, as far as crowds getting on people and all, pretty much always having people at the games. Those are you really can't top those, because both of those fan bases really think their team is the best, even if they not. I tell people all the time, if Southern's 0-10, we still feel like we can beat the the Patriots or somebody, because we just
Yeah,
that full of ourselves for Southern. But when you come in that stadium, you have to be ready, because the crowd is gonna talk noise to you. To get the locker room, you got to walk through underneath the west side stands. The team dresses, the visiting team dresses in the men's gym, which is outside of the stadium. They have to walk past people, and really, people don't hesitate to. So you have to be ready, and a lot of teams come in, they fold under that pressure, but teams that can and they handle that, they be hyped. If they come in there and they win, they're gonna let you know they won, because they know they went through something with the crowd. As you mentioned Valley, I forgot about Valley. I've been Valley a few times. I don't like that trip. That's a boring drive. Um, I haven't been to Valley in a long time, so I don't want nobody to say I'm clowning their school. But I just never really enjoyed going up there. It just was, you know, just wasn't that interesting. The game wasn't that interesting. But I know they got a lot to offer as well. But for what I saw, and I was younger, I just didn't like that trip. I was actually thinking about going to Valley this year, but they moved again to Jackson, so I go to Jackson.
yeah. Valley, man, they you better take your
Well,
own water.
oh, go.
I'm sorry. I thought you was done.
Oh no, you go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead.
Nah, I was just saying that when you go to Valley, you better take some water. I don't know if they fixed that problem. The water was brown. You had all kind of issues down there at Valley, but I've been by there since 2007. It looks like they've renovated and done some things, so hopefully it's on the up and up.
Yeah, I know they did a lot of work on their stadium a couple years ago. I think they're working on getting a new turf field. I always heard people say back in the day that the field had potholes in it. The grass was
Right.
like ankle high. Mosquitoes big enough to carry you away. It was just one of those places that you just didn't really look forward to going to. I mean, as you get older, you realize everywhere has something to offer, but that was just like my least favorite trip, because it just was nothing to do. Um, and the game wasn't always the best either. So I got to get back up there so I can make a better assessment in my later years. My younger self, I just. But I think you had spoke on classics. I've been to Florida Classic a couple of times. I think that's a really good environment. I think that's something that everybody should take in. I've been to Bayou Classic, and I went to the Circle City Classic in Indianapolis, and that was kind of, it wasn't that interesting. It was the first time in that city. I didn't really have a great time. I've been to they had a classic in Chicago. We went to a couple times. Atlanta Football Classic. Anytime you go to Atlanta, it's always gonna be good. We played FAMU the last couple times up there, so that made for a good environment. I went to the SWAC Challenge in Orlando a couple times. So that's pretty much my experience as a fan traveling to places. If it's a nice place to go as a city, then I'm always enjoy myself. But those small one places, they hard for me to get into.
I think you should check out Alabama State in that new stadium. I like it. They got a nice little student section too. That's right over where the visiting team go to dress, and they have a student section that's almost like a club, or like they got coordinated chants and dances, and like they really be turned up over there on the visiting team. I mean, it's a sight to see. So I like that. And I've been to Grambling, but I hadn't been to a football game. I've only been to a basketball game to watch Shaquilla Hill. I don't know. I'm sure you've heard of her, Miss Quadruple Double.
Oh yeah, she was a beast. She did her thing up there.
This is her shirt. Undervalued, underfunded, underestimated. This is her brand. Shout out to Shaquilla Hill, Arkansas legend, Grambling legend.
Well, y'all love sending y'all good players to Louisiana, man. Y'all keep it up. We love it.
Yeah, they somehow they get out of there.
Well, hey, if y'all got any more good football players in Pine Bluff, man, make sure to send them to Baton Rouge. We definitely can use them. It's just I really wish the relationship between the Louisiana schools and Pine Bluff was a lot bigger, because I enjoy seeing Pine Bluff when they come to town. Y'all bring a good crowd. Y'all band is always good, and when the team is good, y'all gonna definitely give people a hard time. So hopefully, maybe we can spice that rivalry up a little bit, me and you, and maybe people feed off for it.
It'd have to be yeah. I'd say after this year, I'll definitely be in for it, but I got to root for Skelton. I want him to win, man.
Hey, we want him to win too, man. I like watching him play. He can be a little bit frustrating when he's inaccurate, but when he runs the ball, man, I haven't seen a guy run the ball at quarterback at Southern like him ever. I've seen him, really put in some hell of a games, and he just got a swagger about him when he's on his game that he tough to stop. He's a winner. Everybody knows he's won everywhere he's been, and he's won at Southern. He just hadn't got that elusive championship yet, and I would love to see him get it before he go, because I think he put in a lot of work to get where he's at. So I just really want to see him shine, especially this last year for him.
Yeah, only thing I hate is Coach Odom's leaving, man. Like Coach O, he looked like, or it seems as if he knew exactly how to coach him. He knew how to get the best of Skelton. He knew when to bench him. He knew when to pull him. And every time he did that, Skelton turned up a notch. So it's like, I don't know if the new coach, Coach Rollins, is going to really know how to deal with him. But Coach O had his number down pretty good, even though they didn't get over the hump.
Oh yeah, like I said, Coach Rollins remained to be seen, but Odoms, he was a guy, man. He was great at preparation, and he knew how to bounce back from games. I think they had one of the best records coming off of bye weeks ever. If he lost and had the week off, you can guarantee almost he was going to win the next week. So he knew how to make adjustments. He knew how to get the most guys. He wasn't really shy about playing multiple guys position. And I think that's what set up Southern for this year, depth at almost every position. And that's thanks to him. I mean, he put in a lot of work. He didn't get all the credit that he deserved in Baton Rouge. I think, a lot of people really judge him a lot on Alcorn. But, really hardly anybody was beating Alcorn at the time. So you just have to kind of hope that the new coaching staff can make adjustments and know to get the most out of this team, because really all they have to do is keep the car on the road. They don't have to learn how to reinvent the wheel. They just have to keep this car going because the parts are already there and it's tuned already and ready to run.
That's a fact. Same thing. I remember in the very first show, you kind of mentioned you don't know what we did in Pine Bluff to get the program turned around. Speaking of Alcorn, you remember Jay Hobson was there, right? You remember he turned the program around.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So Cedric Thomas played at UAPB, which was a head coach from UAPB a couple of years ago when they started to make the turn, but he comes off of Jay Hobson's staff at Alcorn. So he brought a different mindset to UAPB, and he progressed, each year. And then he wound up leaving and going to join Jay Hobson at Southern Miss. But Coach Cedric Thomas is really who started that turnaround. Like, from what I heard on campus, the players were different. They were more, business-like. They didn't goof off around campus like they used to. He brought a different, level of discipline and a winning mentality there. And I see the results of it now. And we also see the results of Jay Hobson. That train keeps on rolling. I'm not saying McNair is not a good coach, but, I mean, Hobson got that started. So, to your point, all Rollins got to do and the rest of their staff is keep it rolling.
Oh yeah, and like you said with Alcorn, they have a program. The last since 2014, every quarterback they brought in, it has been good, and it's hard to have a school that has a run of quarterbacks like that, like John Gibbs, Lenoris Foot, Noah Johnson, and now Felix Harper. That's drop off. Noah Johnson was the SWAC Player of the Year a couple years ago. He gets hurt against Mace. Felix Harper come in and let the reins go, and now he's so that backup guy is always scary, man. I remember we played Alcorn in 2015, and John Gibbs got hurt, and he hurt his knee, and they put in Lenoris Footman. Nobody had seen this guy. First play, man, he rips off a 70-something yard touchdown run, and they beat the brakes off of Southern, and he went on to have a good career at Alcorn. He did have injuries that kind of slow him down a little bit, which led to Noah Johnson playing, but that's a program, and that's what, Southern is basically there. Pine Bluff is getting there with the changing the culture. Gramblin's up and down, but Grambling is a program too. Coach Fobbs has a program, and I like what Maynard is doing at Alabama A&M too.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Maynard, which Alabama A&M, they've been having success up and down for a while. I remember going to the SWAC championship when we played in 2006, Pine Bluff and A&M in Birmingham. That's when the game was still in Birmingham, and they were good then. So they've been up and down, but I think Maynard is really building something. I see he's getting a lot of transfers in from out of the portal, and people really want to go play for him. And I like his attitude and the way he approaches things too.
Oh yeah, I feel like he's the kind of guy. What you see is what you get from him. So he gonna bring that attitude, but at the same time play good. They're gonna be disciplined, and his way around the offense. And he's used to. I mean, he won at Winston-Salem. He was on their way to winning at Hampton before A&M hired him away. And I think if they could hold on to him at A&M, that team is going to be a force in the SWAC for a long time. I really think he, like you say, he did a good job in the portal. He's recruiting well with true freshmen, and he really brought. When he got to A&M, they were losing, and his first year there they won 6 games, and then I think they won 7 games the next year, and then in the spring they won a championship. So the sky's the limit, and they definitely believe in him, and he's showing everything that he's got right now.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I was shocked. I spoke with one of their receivers. I can't pronounce his last name. I think his name is Abdul or something like that. He's number 85, and that kid was
Ibrahim.
a walk-on. Yeah, he was a walk-on. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's giving guys chances. He's playing the best guy at A&M. He's not playing a name. He's playing the best guys, and I like that too.
Oh yeah, I love seeing coaches bringing walk-ons and giving them an opportunity to develop, because like you said, that kid came in as a walk-on and left as All-American, basically well, not left, but at his freshman year he was all conference, and
Right.
he was a beast in the spring as well. And they put together a group of receivers there that I think are probably the best in the SWAC right now. And Akil Glass at quarterback. I've been saying that dude was the best quarterback in the SWAC since 2018. He's a monster, man. That you see him on TV, he's big, but in person he's even bigger, and he's hard to bring down. And he knows he's very cerebral. He knows what to do with the football and where to go with it. And if you give him time, he's gonna pick you apart.
Yeah, they trying to load up, man. Getting Quincy Casey from Jackson State to succeed Akil Glass. So, like you said, I think they're trying to make sure they're good for the next, I don't know how many years, because I think Quincy Casey is going to be pretty good too.
Oh yeah, like you say, if you go from Glass to Casey, who a lot of people at Jackson State were talking about him, when he first got to Jackson, they thought he was going to be the guy to run that team, and it just never worked out. It just never worked out for him. But they also have a couple of good rated freshmen waiting in the wings as well. So if Casey can bridge that gap between Glass and those new kids, that offense is just going to continue to blossom. So my question with A&M is always on defense, but they've addressed that in the portal, but it remains to be seen how it transpires on the field. But that's a team that I really like. Another team that I keep an eye on a lot is Alabama State. I love their defense. Their defense is nasty. They'll hit you. Ezra Gray, the running back, is electric. I think that they're a team that can cause some problems. They never really get blowed out in games, but they don't always, they don't always win, but they always are in games. And that's, I think they're going to be a team to watch out for. I heard that coach is on the hot seat, though, so that's something to keep an eye on as well.
I think they are a Ryan Nettles that has progressed away from winning quite a few games. I had season tickets to the spring, and I watched him play quite a bit. And the kid, he has obviously the talent, but he's kind of like your Skelton, the way you feel about Skelton sometimes. He's on sometimes, and then he's making those mistakes when he shouldn't be making them. And I think that's costing them because, like you said, the defense is doing their job, but the offense can't always put points on the board. They got some decent receivers, but they need him to be on point a little bit more than what he's been. And I think he's going to continue to get better with more time. But I like Alabama State too. They're a very solid team, very solid, physical, and just a solid group of kids.
Yeah, they play a brand of football I like. I like teams that play really physical on defense, teams that's not scared to hit you in the mouth. Like you said, Ryan Nettles, he's gonna get better. He impressed me the first game of the season against Southern. He made mistakes early, but I thought he did a good job of fighting through that, and he had him in the position to tie the game at the end. It just didn't work out. But that's a team that if they can if he can get that consistency, they're going to always be around. It's tough to stop. They don't really beat themselves too often. They're just a team that is always going to be a pest for you. So you have to be ready when you play them. And those are the kind of teams that you always have to look out for, those teams that they may not beat you, but they're going to give you problems. Texas Southern, and I know we kind of jumping around on a bunch of different teams. We don't really, not really going in any kind of structure, or we just kind of chopping it up a little bit. But Texas Southern is a team that I think may win a couple games this year. I like some of what they have on offense. They had a nice freshman quarterback playing Jalen Brown. They got some guys on defense that are pretty good. They just don't have enough depth to compete. But I do think they're going to be a team to win a game or two this year.
I'm gonna add Valley in that mix. I like what I saw from Valley. I watched them play, and I think they're pretty good too. Their defense is pretty stout. They're not a bad team. I just think that they're probably one or two pieces away, and I think they're gonna make some noise too. They might not win, 6 or 7 games, but I think they're gonna win at least 3 or 4, and they may be in, maybe 5 games.
Yeah, I agree. Valley is the kind of team that make you nervous when you got to go when you play them at their home because they fired up, they're ready. They just don't. They're not at that point that they could translate that on the road. But I love their defense. Their defense came out of nowhere a couple years ago, and they have some really good guys. Jared Garner on the defensive line is a guy that can really get out there, and he likes to rush the pass. He can stop the run as well. They got some good pieces in the secondary. They just don't have the depth to compete right now. If their offense can generate some points, then they'll be even more dangerous because I think that defense can slow you down, but they wear down in the second half, which is what gets them against good teams. But I feel like this year nobody's gonna go winless. I think everybody's gonna win a game. I think Valley or Texas Southern gonna beat somebody they probably shouldn't, and that's what I'm really looking forward to. Is I like to see everybody come up. I mean, I know everybody can't win. That's not the way a season works. But if everybody's competitive, then it makes for a really good season.
Yep. One last question I got for you. What you think about that quarterback that's committed to Southern out of Georgia?
I've been kind of looking at him. I'm interested, man. He seems like he got some pretty good talent. I don't think a lot of people have watched him a lot, but he's played a high level of football in Georgia. So that's definitely, if you can succeed in Georgia football, I don't care what level you play on. They play some really tough football in that state. And he's a dual threat guy, which definitely fits into what Southern wants to do. And he seems like he can throw the ball fairly well. So Southern has like 2 other young quarterbacks that's behind Skelton, Lampley, and McDaniel. So, I think the future is bright for that position. I think whoever comes in, if he's able to come in and get the job or compete for the job, I think that guy just has to not make mistakes because I think Southern first and foremost wants to run the football. And if the quarterback can run, then that definitely helps. So I'm intrigued. I'm going to keep my eyes on him this fall, see what he do in his last year because I did hear some really good things about him.
Okay, that's what's up. And I also wanted to know, and then we can get off here. I know I'm running long, but I wanted to know when I watch Grambling and Southern play, it's always kids from Baton Rouge going to Grambling or kids from Northern Louisiana going to Southern. Why is that? Like kids in Baton Rouge, a lot of them end up at Grambling.
Grambling has a lot of roots in Baton Rouge. Eddie Robinson was from this area. Doug Williams grew up in Cheneyville, which is basically right up the street from where I live. My parents live up that way. They had guys like Cal Spears, Ellis Spears, Lionel Hayes, the list, Tremont Douglas. The list goes on and on of guys from Baton Rouge. And like I said, Grambling is just a historical program in this state, and they have deep roots in Baton Rouge. And for a long time, Southern didn't always recruit Baton Rouge as hard as they should have. So kids would leave, and Grambling always picked up on it. As far as north to south, Southern's got a nice contingency of people in the North Louisiana area too. So Southern has always recruited that way in past years. Now Southern's focus is probably more on the I-10, like Pensacola to Houston. They're trying to really get that area locked down. And I really would love to see them keep more Baton Rouge kids because there's a lot of talent in this area. But a lot of kids don't want to play at home; they want to go away. So I understand that. But to see some of those guys leave that and go to Grambling and succeed, you're happy for them, but it does hurt a little bit.
Yeah, I bet, because I've watched quite a few at Grambling here the last couple of years, especially on that team with Devontae Kincaid and Martez Carter and all them. They had some boys from Baton Rouge doing well.
Oh yeah, they get what they want from this area. So, like you said, we're gonna get on up out of here. You got any? I think next show we'll kind of continue to talk about the teams like we did today, but we'll talk a little bit more about some of the games that we're looking forward to coming up. So if you want to kind of jot down a few games that you're interested in, I'll do the same, and we can go back and forth like that. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in to another edition, man. Y'all really been showing a lot of love, and just continue to support. We're gonna continue to do this thing and do the best that we got. You want to words on them before we get out of here?
Just continue to support and keep commenting. Let us know what y'all think. Let us know what y'all want to see, and just chime in, interact with us.
All right, everybody. So we'll be back next week with another edition of SWAC Smoke, man. I hope y'all enjoy y'all weekend.